All right, we continue our SEC previews with Alabama. Jake Thomas is here to talk all about the Tide and everything's going on for their poor, pitiful seasons that they've been having for the last decade. And we should just all feel sorry for them. How you doing, Jake?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. Tell me, with so many new players coming into important skill positions on offense, how that's actually affecting the team.
We lost a lot of talent on the offensive side last year. We had the Heisman Trophy winner. You also had a great quarterback in Matt Jones, and you had Najee Harris, who is probably the best running back in the conference, as we saw. You got a lot of guys to replace. Also, we're having to replace three offensive linemen. It's been a challenge. You saw a little bit in the spring game. There was some issues early offensively on the offensive line about communication. I have a feeling it'll probably take a few games in the regular season to get that straightened up. But overall, we're still good talent-wise. No offense, but Alabama is five deep everywhere, it seems like. So, yeah, we lost a lot of great players, but we also have great players to step back up in those positions.
All right. Looking at the wide receiver position, you've lost four great ones that went to the NFL. They're going to do great things.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the guys that we need to look at that position right now?
Oh, man. The big guy, of course, is John Mechie. He's pretty much a returning starter from last year, and if everybody remembers what he did to that poor line or defensive guy from Florida in the championship game, just lit him up. So he's returning, and a guy that caught a lot of people's eyes in the spring game was I cannot think of his name. I cannot think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, he's a incoming freshman to look out for. But also, we still got Slade Bolden, so there's still talent there and guys to make the big plays. And also, would not be surprised to see Jaleel Billingsley a lot get up in the slot because he is slated at tight end, but he can run slot and he's a pretty quick guy to put out there as well.
All right, new change at offensive coordinator. Any concern with the pro system coming into college after leaving Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian in the past?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a change for sure. It's a welcome change, I would say. My biggest question throughout this whole new getting Duvall, what's his name?
O'Brien.
The new O'Brien. Yeah, I was thinking about Duvall used to be there for years, but O'Brien, getting him in. Can he? I know he's recruited well, but can he recruit in the Southeast? And can he bring these players in that Steve Sarkisian and Lane has brought in for us? So the change is going to be different. You still going to see a lot of passing, I believe, but it's going to be a little bit more run heavy, I think, than it has been the past couple of years.
Speaking of which, that's a nice transition. Brian Robinson finally gets the keys after being behind Najee Harris. What does he bring to the table? What type of a back is he?
What I love about Brian Robinson is when he got his opportunity last year, he made the most of it, and he pretty much ran guys over. And he reminds me a little bit of what Derrick Henry did about running people over. So I think he'll be fine. I'm more interested in Jace McClellan, to be honest. He showed a lot last year with us. So I think the running back game is still going to be there for Alabama. Brian Robinson finally gets his chance to get his moment, but Jace is right there, and he's going to be pushing him all year.
Okay. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. Traditionally, Alabama has been a defensive stalwart, but with the advent of Lane and Steve Sarkisian, Saban has taken his thumb a little bit off of the offense and allowed them to give up points defensively. How are they looking this year? Is it going to be a return to form, or are they going to struggle again?
I think they're going to be better than the 2012 team defensively, just for the fact that look at the talent that they have spread around the field. You have arguably one of the best linebackers in the game right now, in Christian Harris. You also have standout from last year, Will Anderson on the end as well. In the back, the secondary, you also have Malachi Moore, who showed up big in the starter last year. The only concern for me is who's going to take over that corner spot. Joe moves in to number one corner. Can he be the next Patrick Surtain and be a lockdown corner? Maybe, maybe not. It remains to be seen. He's very talented, but it remains to be seen. But who's going to take that second spot where he was at last year? Will that be Kool-Aid McKinstry? That's the question, biggest question to me on defense this year.
All right, and this year, is this the year where a Saban disciple finally gets him?
Whew. There's a lot of talk. I'm going to be honest. The guy you got wearing on your shirt, I believe, would be the first one to get him. Will it be this year? I'm not sure. He gave us a run last year. I'm not exactly how the schedule's setting up, but like I said, it's going to take a couple games for Alabama offensively to get rolling. That's why I think they're going to be heavily dependent on the defense. There's a lot of talent on the offensive side, but it's going to take a couple games for them to get going. So we might have a slip up, to Ole Miss, and Lane might get him. But this, I believe, before Saban retires, he will slip up, and one of his proteges will pass him, and I really think it's going to be Lane.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but what's going on at Texas A&M? Jimbo could sneak up this year or the year after with the program that he's building right now. Speaking of other teams in the SEC, what are some storylines that you're looking at around the league?
You said it best. Texas A&M, can they make that next step? Jimbo seems like he's been right there, but he cannot beat Alabama to get to the SEC championship game. So that's one of the biggest things this year to me, especially too, is on the East. Georgia, can Kirby make that next step? They got a lot of talent. And this is the year for him to pretty much win the SEC and run the table, get the championship. It's going to be interesting to see if he can do that. You got a lot of new coaches coming in down at Auburn. We'll see how Harbison does his first year. But there's a lot going right for a lot of teams in the conference, and I'm glad to see that. I'm a big Alabama fan, but I'm an SEC fan too, so I like to see everybody do good.
Yeah, and especially with Georgia, it's going to be interesting to see if Kirby can take that step of taking his thumb off the offense and letting them go, because they do have the athletes and the potential to be great. I think Florida, if Dan Mullen doesn't try to insert a square peg in a round hole and run Kyle Trask's offense with Emory Jones and goes back to the Nick Fitzgerald stuff that he did at Mississippi State, I think that offense could be pretty dynamic. I want to see what kind of transition from Gus Malzahn to Brian Harsin, and what does that look at personnel-wise, and that schedule at Arkansas. Have you seen their schedule?
That's rough.
That's absolutely nuts. They won 3 games last year. They might not win three games this year. So, I mean, we got a bunch of interesting stories around the league.
Absolutely, and the SEC is the best league in college football right now. There's no question about it. Talent wise and coaching proteges there everywhere. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. And let's see. New coach at South Carolina, new coach at Auburn, new coach at Vanderbilt. I'm interested in Clark Lee.
Tennessee's got a new coach.
Yeah, Tennessee's got a new coach, which half of their team transferred away, so they're gonna have problems this year regardless.
Right.
But they're going to lose games 55-48 or something like that, some ridiculous thing. That's just the hype away. Yep. I'm interested in Kentucky because they're doing a system change on offense with that defense. What they will look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kentucky's another team that's been right there that just cannot beat Georgia or Florida to make that next step into the SEC championship game. So, I really love their head coach. I've been a fan of his for years since he's been up there. But he's got to win. Take that next step and win against Georgia and Florida to get to the championship game.
How concerned are you opening up with Miami?
I am a little bit, just because we got so many new players offensively. I think they bring King back, which is huge for them. But defensively, like I said, we're set. We're going to have to rely on the defense starting out. But offensively, it's going to be a little while. I think maybe 3 or 4 games to get settled. But I still think we still win that game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Miami's almost there. They probably need a little more seasoning.
Yeah.
To get up the list with Clemson. I think Clemson's set up to drop down a little bit. I know they have Ukulele, which, hey, how about that?
Good job.
Yeah, and they have some guy, but I think losing Etienne is going to really hurt them, because I don't think they realize how important he was to even Trevor Lawrence. Everything flowed through Etienne.
Oh, absolutely. And Trevor Lawrence was a great quarterback himself, but so was Etienne. I think, the stud of that offense. And it's going to be a change for them as well. And like you said, they still have talent, but it's going to be a transition year. I think they still may win 10, 11 games, because that conference kind of right now is kind of weak still. North Carolina's getting better. And like you said, Miami, but other than that, Florida State's still kind of down. Georgia Tech, he's still trying to get all his players in, but the ACC is still Clemson's to lose.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of great stuff this year for sure. North Carolina is also the team to watch this year. They could slip up. They could get somebody. All right, Jake Thomas from Alabama doing his preview thing. You want to pimp your podcast and everything before we go?
Yeah, man. Follow Tide Talk Sports on Twitter. We try to put out some kind of video talking about Alabama athletics once a week. The schedules, don't work out too well, but we try to get content out daily through Twitter. So follow us there. You can follow me at Jake Thomas TTS.
All right. Thanks, Jake, for stopping by. Our Alabama preview. Hopefully we can come back and do it again once we get closer to the game.
We need to do one, a preview of the Alabama Ole Miss game for sure. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and if you need me to come on, just let me know. I'm more
absolutely. Happy to we'll do it, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, Jake Thomas, Alabama. Hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.